Welcome to This Week in Airline Safety with your host, Todd Curtis. Today is November 21st, 2014, and in this week's show, we are going to talk about drones. Earlier this week, the NTSB laid down a ruling which essentially said that they would allow the FAA to treat drones as aircraft and manage them accordingly. This is an ongoing case that goes back to 2011 when a gentleman was using a drone for commercial purposes to take some photographs of the University of Virginia. The FAA strictly prohibits this from happening, although it's being done on a regular basis around the country. And it basically boils down to, are drones aircraft or are drones not aircraft? In the decision of the NTSB, they agreed with the FAA contention that drones are aircraft and can be managed accordingly. Now, to have a bit of background on this, drones, which go by various names, unmanned aircraft, uncrewed aircraft, etc., have been growing in popularity for personal as well as other uses, while the most famous drones are your Predator-type military drones used overseas for a variety of military actions. There are a lot of commercial drones that are available and at relatively affordable prices for commercial ventures and for private individuals. While there have been a number of problems over the last few years with people illegally using drones to, for example, photograph football games and the like, and there has been a lot of consternation on the part of the FAA to keep this under control, what we have seen is a clash of technology and policy and of regulations. And basically, the technology to build and operate a fairly sophisticated drone that can be used for, among other things, aerial surveillance and aerial photography, has grown to such an extent that there are a lot of people, private individuals as well as corporations and small businesses, which see a use for these and are using them in spite of the fact that the FAA has a strict limitation on what you can do with these aircraft. In short, you're allowed to operate them under a certain altitude, roughly 400 feet, within line of sight of the operator, and it can't be for any commercial purposes. So if you're a farmer who wants to use this to manage your crops, or if you're a photographer who wants to take photographs away from populated areas and such, you're not allowed to do it by the FAA regulations. Point of fact, it's being done on a regular basis. And in most cases, it's done in a way that's not a risk to commercial aviation. Unfortunately, there have been a number of operators who have operated their drone aircraft close to commercial airliners and close to other civilian airline traffic. So this latest decision of the NTSB is not going to be the first or the last word on this. And I suspect that over time, there will be a little bit more clarity on the part of the FAA as to how drones will be managed. Although there is an explicit requirement by the FAA to incorporate remotely controlled aircraft into the national airspace system. In other words, the same air traffic control system that you and I would use to fly to and from various cities. Although there's a mandate to incorporate drone aircraft into the system, it won't be a sudden incorporation. There will be a lot of technological as well as organizational hurdles that will have to be overcome. But rest assured, what happened this week in the NTSB is one of many contentious issues that will be addressed over time. With that, we bring this week's Week in Airline Safety to a close. And for more information on airline safety, please visit us at airsafe.com. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week.